the agenda for today. So I hope all of you must be joining here to understand how you can actually crack the CISM exam, what are the resources which you need to use, how you can actually crack it in the first attempt. And you all know it's a well known industry recognized certification in the cybersecurity world. So firstly, I will be quickly walking you through what is the CISM application process, how you can apply for it, what are the resources which is available with the ISACA. So ISACA is the organization who actually provide the certification. Then I'll quickly share you what are the exam preparation and what are the study resources which you can utilize, and what are the success strategies which you can use to actually ace your exam. Some tips from me, and then I'll quickly walk you through different CISM domains and what is the relationship between them, and a small part of the security governance fundamentals, which is the first domain. So that's the agenda for the day. So let's first begin with what is the CISM. So this is actually the ISACA website. So if you go there, so it already provide you the overview of CISM certification, what is all about, right? And the these are the four things what you need to do. So as such, I'll be covering about them during the presentation. So there are few already learning resources which are available with this ISACA website, which you can make use of that if you want. Once you are fully prepared, you think that okay, I can go and write the exam, then you go and register for the exam, right? You create the ISACA account, you register for the exam, and then you schedule your exam, right? And then you can go write and get certified. So that's what the process is of the CISM, right? Now again, let me go back here. Yes. So what is actually the CISM? So actually CISM exam, it's a close to a 4 hour exam, right? And you need to score 450 out of the 800. 800 is the highest score in the total exam. The exam consists of total 150 question, but actually all questions are not equally weightage. They do not carry equally weightage, so you will not be able to understand that which question carry which how much weightage. But on an approx the score you should be getting close to 450, and this score is actually averaged out between all four domains, which I'll be talking about in the next slides, that what is the weightage given to each one of these domains, right? And once you get this much score, then you are called CISM certified. But it does not stop there. Then you should be actually submitting one form, paying some I think it's $100 fee, which is a charge, and then after that you submit your documents, and you need to give reference to someone, maybe your manager or someone else in your team, who can verify this 5 years of your information security experience. And at least you should carry 3 years in management across three domains. That's the average which they want. Then you can get a CISM certification credential from the ISACA. Once this is done, then you can actually submit the application, and there is a ISACA ethics code which is there, which you need to agree. Same thing with ISC Square also. So they have ethics code which you need to adhere to. If you are getting CISM certified, you do that and you get certified. So I hope by going through, you all must be already feeling okay, we can get certified. So CISSP actually consists of total 8 domains, right? CISM has 4 domains. Both of these exams are actually for the manager level or maybe the leadership level certifications, but CISM, the content and the things which are there, which are being asked in the exam, the pattern of CISM exam is different altogether than CISSP. So CISSP get more deeper into all the domains, and the CISSP is a CAT based exam. So you can see it's only consists of the 4 domains. So amount of preparation which is required to clear the CISSP and amount of preparation which is required to clear the CISM would always differ, right? You need to spend a lot of huge amount of effort to clear the CISSP. That's why people generally prefer going with the CISM first, so that you get a overview of the information security governance, and then you can slowly move to CISM. So this is the registration process which I already told. So you need to create a ISACA account, and then you need to pay the fees. So if you are already a member of the ISACA, you can take a membership. So you need to pay $575, and the this particular amount keeps changing. But currently, this is the currently fee which you need to pay. And if you are not a member, you need to pay $760. And then after paying this fee, you can schedule your exam. I already told it's a 4-hour exam with 150 multiple choice questions. Now, what are the study resources which you can utilize? So definitely, there are official resources which are actually given by ISACA itself. So ISACA CISM review manual, it's a 16th edition, which is the current one. This you can actually pay the fee and buy from the ISACA website itself, right? This you can use. Second thing, they also publish a question database, which is currently running on the 10th edition. It consists of close to, I think, close to 700 to 800 questions of all the 4 domains. You can make use of this particular question bank to actually solve the question, practice the question, understand that what kind of question you will be facing in the exam. Then there are some third party books or the third party writers also, they publish books. And these there are other books also, but I have written here which are the most popular and widely used by all the aspirants to crack the exam. First one is the all-in-one exam guide from the Peter Gregory. Then there is one CISM study guide, cybex, from Mike Chappell. And the last one is a pocket prep by Hemang Doshi. It's very fantastic book, Pocket Prep by Hemang Doshi. It actually it's actually written in a very simplified language, so it's very easy to understand the topic. You can make use of it. There are some other reported sources also. So all of you who might be here, they might be aware who's the Parab Nair. So he has a very beautiful coffee shots which he have prepared. It's there in the YouTube channel. It's free of cost. You can make use of those to actually clarify your doubts on some critical topics which are there. Even he has some videos around all the domains, summary of the domains. You can make use of it. Then there are Think Like a Manager videos by Gwen Betty. So this Gwen Betty, her videos are also very good. It will give you perspective that what kind of questions you will get, how you will think like a manager and eliminate 3 choices and reach to a correct option, right? So that's how this particular videos also help. And then definitely the third one option, if you want to actually crack it in a short span of time, definitely an instructor led course from online platform will definitely help. You can always make use of the open source resources, YouTube videos, or maybe some cheap Udemy courses which you can take and you can crack the exam. But as I think all of you here present would be maybe already working somewhere in the corporate, right? So every day working at 8 to 10 hours, then again you need to spend close to 2 hours per day for close to 2 months to actually cover all 4 domains and then prepare if you are doing it at your own. But suppose you are taking this kind of instructor led training course from any platform or any resources, it will the life will become very easy. You can go through videos and just high level read any of the book at very high level. You will be able to crack the exam. So let me summarize this what Kailash said. So if you ask a practitioner, maybe a L1 analyst who just joined from a college, which is the best cloud provider, he may answer it's a Azure, AWS, or GCP, whomsoever he have used, right? But if you talk from a management perspective or from a CISO perspective, CIO perspective, CTO perspective, right? They will definitely see what is the business requirement, right? You may use make use of hybrid cloud also. You may take some services from Azure, some services from AWS. The same thing. That's the major difference between a manager and think like a practitioner, right? So the practitioner is the one who actually implement the thing, right? Manager is the one who govern those things, who give the guidance. Suppose tomorrow there is a security incident which came like a phishing, someone clicked on the phishing email. So the security practitioner would be the one who will actually validate it. Like he'll just see, okay, as per the playbook which he has, he will just check, okay, and validate, okay, it's a incident or not, right? But after that, then it goes to definitely manager, right? He's the one who actually see everything holistically, what is the impact, what is the risk, and then accordingly takes a decision. That's the major difference. And it's why I actually emphasize on this, because this is a very important thing to know if you're getting into starting preparing for the CISM exam, because thing like a manager, this particular thought process is very important. Otherwise, you will end up selecting a lot of questions wrong, because in most of the questions, all the four options would be correct. So I'll be actually working on sharing few uh, questions also and tips around it. So maybe it will get clarified. And as I already told, it's a 4 hour exam typically. So 1.5 minute per question would be more than enough, so that you will be able to complete it in close to 3 hours some minutes, right? Then you will be left with, so the best part of major difference between the CISM and CISSP is that CISSP is a CAD based exam. Once you answer the question, you cannot go back and review. But in CISM exam, that particular leeway is given. You can always mark a question for the review, and at the end, if you want, you can go and review and see. If you have any doubt, you can just mark that question, and maybe at the end you can review and then select the correct answer. So that's how, that is the good part about the CISM. Then definitely you should study all the domains equally. Just don't focus on what is the weightage given by the ISACA, because all the domains are connected with each other. So you will in few of the question, you will not be able to understand that the question is from which domain. And that's how you should actually learn all the domain equally and give equal weightage to all of them, and practice as many questions as you can. And this is the tip, because the more question you practice, the more different type of question you will practice, you will be able to actually get that particular habit, that what is the correct answer, what is the incorrect answer. And just don't go by what you learn and just select a correct answer, rather than go with the elimination technique, which I'll be talking in the subsequent slide. And then just one small apology, actually I had a digital pad and the digital pen, but somehow it is not working today. Otherwise, I would have make use of it and made the session more interactive. But sorry that at the last moment it stopped working. So I'll be only going through the slide. Yeah. So this is the most important thing. These are the four major keywords which you will be able to see in the questions which you get in the exam, right? And these particular 5 terms, these are highlighted in the bold. I'll tell you, these are highlighted in the bold: greatest, first, most, best, main. And it actually changed the answer of the question. If I replace the greatest with the first, most, best, main, the answer of the question will change. So you need to actually read the question very properly, understand what the question is trying to say, and then answer. So what is the greatest? So greatest mean, suppose you have 4 options. It's generally each question consists of 4 options. So the greatest mean better than other 3 options, right? So so a simple example, right? I talked about various study resources to you, right? But if I ask you what is the greatest book to refer, right? Definitely it's going to be the ISACA official study guide, right? There are some third-party books, third-party guides, but ISACA review manual cover each and everything what is required to clear the exam, because it's coming from official provider. So that's how it works. First is actually, it's talk about the sequence. Like suppose tomorrow, if I take a simple example, right? Tomorrow there is a security incident, right? There is a security incident which is reported to SOC team, right? What you will do first? So then the sequence, it will begin with the sequence, right? The first you will actually validate the incident, validate that particular security incident which is reported, right? You will not, there can be the option that like you report it to the senior management, you do the analysis, you isolate the system, but those all things will come later. The first thing would be, first validate the security incident. You validate it to confirm that it's actual true positive or a false positive. Then only you go to the next step. That's what talk about the first. And the most, so most is actually the most regular, most frequent, or most common activity which is there around that particular all the four options which would be presented over there, right? Out of which what is the most frequent or most common activity, it will more clarify to you once I go to the question. I have one question each on all of these five terminologies which are here, right? And what is the best is actually for a particular situation, the situation which is given in that particular question, right? Out of which you need to, out of four you need to select which is the best among them, right? It's not often, but best in that particular situation, best in that particular scenario which is given in the question, that is the best. And main is actually the primary, what is the primary thing over there, right? That comes as a main. So this is all, these are the five main thing which you need to observe in all the question. And close to 70 to 80% question which you will get in the exam will contain any of these particular keywords, and most of the time these are written in the same caps, sometimes it's bold also, so you need to observe it properly. Then second thing apart from this is the tenses. Actually you need to read the question very properly. If it's in the past tense, if the question is written in the past tense, it means the activity has already happened, right? So the option will change. And suppose the activity has not happened, the option will change. So that's how you need to actually read the question very properly and then attempt the exam. That's why there is a high failure rate in all these exams, because if you don't read the question properly, you don't actually negate all those wrong options, you will end up getting the question correct. Now let's go to the practice question. So now let's see what is the correct option for question number one and question number two. All right, let's see what is the correct answer. And then first one is the B, and the second one is also B. Now let me just explain you why the B is the correct answer, right? So so it's talking about which of the following is the greatest risk that an information security manager must address when an organization rapidly adopts cloud services without adequate governance. So as I already told, greatest is which is the best among all of these, right? Best among all of these. And sometimes you need to see which actually option covers all of them, right? And let me tell you here, I think all four of them are looking correct only, right? All of these are actually challenges only, right? So so what is the keyword? First one is the greatest. Then an information security manager must address when an organization rapidly adopts cloud services without, so there is no governance defined in the organization, right? Now let's go to the options. First one is the increased complexity in managing multiple cloud vendors. Okay, but here it the question is not talking about the vendors, right? How many vendors you are managing? It's not talking about that. So it's not looking adequate. Let's go to C and D, and then we'll come to B. C talks about difficulty in integrating cloud services logs with on-prem SIEM solution. I talked about that practitioner and the manager mindset, right? Is the same thing. It's only talking about one particular situation. It's talking only about the logs integration with the SIM solution, right? This is only one type of risk which is being addressed here, right? So kind of a practitioner level mindset, which is definitely it's a challenge, but it's one of the challenge, right? And how about D, reduced control over physical security of cloud data center? Definitely, because when you are adopting the cloud, this is always a challenge which you are accepting, right? No cloud provider actually give you access to the physical security, so this challenge is always there. But if you see option B, potential for data exploitation due to misconfiguration cloud security setting, this is the major challenge over here. And if you see, it somehow cover this also, somehow. So this is the major challenge which we have, because if your cloud security settings are misconfigured, definitely there is a potential of the data exploitation, right? Now let's go to the second option. Second, I can see a lot of you answered already B. Okay, which of the following is the best approach for an information security manager to regularly measure and report on the effectiveness of the information security program to executive management? Okay, provide raw technical vulnerability scan report monthly. It's only talking about one particular aspect of the security reporting. You will not only be reporting only the vulnerabilities, right? There are other aspects of the security also which you will be reporting, right? Now let's go to option C, submitting a detailed list of all security incident and their remediation steps annually. How can a senior management actually read details of all the security incident and remediation steps? There can be some n number of security incidents which you receive, and for senior management to actually read all of them and actually get some data out of it would be very difficult, right? So not a correct option. Conducting a ad hoc meetings whenever a significant security event occurs. Okay, so this is just talking about one particular situation. You are conducting an ad hoc meeting, but how it will give them a clear picture of overall security program what you are running? Definitely, whenever there is a security program and the reporting to the executive management, the best option would be actually summarizing the dashboard and presenting them the KPIs and KRIs, because these are the one those who present the correct scenario what you have and what is the current risk. So I hope you got the clarity from these particular term. Now let's see other three questions. These are based on other three keywords which I just talked about. Well, let me tell you, these are very simple questions, very basic. You may not get so easy questions in the exam. Those questions would be a bit more actually difficult or maybe more tricky in nature. So these are very simple questions to just make you understand and make you understand what is this topic and what these keywords mean. So it's talking about this step, right? Upon discovering a potential information security incident, which of the following is the first action an information security manager should ensure is taken, right? It's talking about this step, what he will do first. Notifying all the affected external stakeholders and regulatory body. Definitely, it's one of the step, right? But let's see what is the next option talks about. It talk about isolate the affected system to prevent further spread of incident, right? So definitely it will come before this, before A. Let me go to C, conduct a detailed forensic analysis to identify the root cause. It will come after B. And then restore affected system from a latest known good backup. It will also come after B, right? So the correct option is B. It talking about the sequence. So B will come first. Remaining other options which are there, it will come post this. Now let's go to the fourth one. When determining the information security strategy, which factor should the information security manager consider most significantly? Most means which is the most common, or maybe the most common in nature, primary thing over here, right? The latest cybersecurity technology trends and vendor offering. Definitely, it would be there, but you will not be only taking the decision on the base of the cybersecurity technology trends and the vendor offerings, right? The organization overall business objective and the risk appetite. Definitely it looks a good option, so we'll park it. The C, the current skill set and the training level of the security team. This option would be there, but just on the basis of this, you will not be actually determining the security strategy, benchmarking against industry leaders security spending. No, this is also not a correct option. So the correct option is B over here. Now let's go to the fifth question. What is the main purpose of establishing an information security governance framework within an organization? So main means a primary purpose, like without which is the primary purpose of actually establishing a security governance framework. So first one, to ensure the compliance with all applicable legal regulatory requirements. It can be, but you just by establishing a security governance framework, you cannot ensure the compliance with all the regulatory requirement. To determine the technical security controls for all IT system. So, so technical security controls are part of the information security governance framework. You would be including that, but this is not the primary purpose over here. C, to provide strategic direction, establish accountability, and ensure that the information security support business objective. This is the main thing. So any question in the exam, if you see supporting business objective, business strategy, definitely that could be the potential correct answer. But it may depend, but that would be a potential correct answer. So this is the correct option over here. And the manage day-to-day operations of the security team. So not this is the main purpose of doing that. So the C is the correct answer. So I hope you are able to actually relate to what I talked about, those five keywords and how it can change the answer, right? Here you were able to actually select the correct answer, but the questions which you will be getting in the exam would be more tricky. All the four options would look correct to you, and then selecting a correct option out of them would be little bit difficult. That's why you need to read the question properly and then read the options again and then decide which is the correct answer. Now, let's talk about the domain. Now, we already understood what is the CISM exam, what it is. So, there are four domains in the CISM exam. First domain is the information security governance. It contains the weightage of 17%. Second domain is the information security uh, risk management. It contains the weightage of 20%. Third one is the information security program. Contains the highest weightage of 33%, and the incident management contains the 30% weightage. So if you see the percentage, so you can you can divide it in this 150 question. So 17% question would be coming from this, 20% from this, 33% from this, and 30% from this. So that's how the exam is. And actually the ISACA is good. They follow this particular thing, and you will be able to see these many number of questions. But as I told you, all the domains are related to each other. You cannot actually learn another domain without learning this particular domain. So that's why these domains are actually mapped in such a manner. You need to give equal weightage to all of them. So I'll be talking about it. And already told, it's a 4-hour exam, 150 questions, and it can be attempted in online as well as from exam center. But with my experience, I'll recommend please go and write it from the exam center, because you can take any number of breaks at home. When you are actually writing the exam, always there is a problem of power failure, or maybe there can be any kind of logistical issue which may happen, right? But when you are writing from exam center, you are peacefully sitting there in the PC and writing, right? And you can take a break. Suppose you get kind of saturated after attempting some number of questions, you can always take a break, walk out, uh, drink sip of water, and then come back again, resume, right? But the clock won't stop. But 4 hours is a sufficient time which is given by them. You can always manage and take breaks. So I'll recommend, if anyone is planning to write the exam, go and write it from the exam center. Now, how these particular domains are related, as I told you that uh, all of these domains, you need to actually read it properly. They all are connected to each other, and this is the major thing which it connects to them, right? If you talk about the security governance, so what is governance? Governance is actually a kind of a government, right? Every country has a government, right? It has some houses. Maybe it's a you can compare with our country, right? We have a government, we have a parliament houses, we have a president, we have a court, right? We have a police, right? All these pillars which are there, they all are part of the governance. If you take out any one of them, right, there is going to be a lot of issues created, right? Suppose there is no police in the country, you can imagine what is going to be the havoc situation over there. Same thing happened with the security. For the information security, whatever you have established in your organization, there should be governance, there should be rules, policies, guidelines, frameworks which are designed. You should have a proper kind of a departmentalization, proper strategy should be followed. Then only the security can actually function properly in the organization, right? That's why it is written the security governance mandate. Once you have a governance, not only you will be able to go and do a risk management, information security risk management. Without governance, you cannot actually perform or do the risk management. That's why it goes to security risk management. So the security risk management is a second domain. It talks about the assets, vulnerabilities, how the risks are treated, mitigated, what are the different risk treatment options available, what is the threshold, what is the risk appetite, and there are other topics as well. So this is the second domain which it talks about. And once you have a security risk management, then it established help you establish an information security program. So the program will include setting up all the teams. You will have a SOC, you will have identity and access management, you will have all the policies, you will have all the frameworks in place. You will have a different teams which are working on different domains. That's how the security program is established. And once you have a full-fledged security program established, then you go at a tactical level, like handling the security incident. Any security incident comes to you, then using all three of them, you will be able to handle those security incidents properly, and it will actually affect the risk management. If any security incident is reported, definitely it will help you improve your risk management, as well as security governance reports to means all the security incident, all the KPIs, KRIs, all the things which you have, you will be reporting it to security governance, means senior management, CISO, all of them will be getting notified what is the current, how many security incidents they are happening, what is the current percentage. As per that, you can actually design your program, you can make changes in the policies. That's how all these four domains are related to each other. That's why I told that all of these domains actually need to be read properly and understand properly to actually if you want to clear the exam. Now I'll be quickly briefly touching upon the security governance fundamentals, right? So so information security is, there are three most important thing to actually establish a security governance in the organization. You will be first creating a security strategy, then you will be creating uh, then you will create a security policies. On the basis of that, you will be setting up the information security program. That's how all these particular things are related with each other. So what is the strategy like in each and every organization, right? To actually govern the business, suppose tomorrow you are actually establishing one startup, right? You are starting, maybe suppose you are starting a startup like Zepto, like five, let me take an example, like suppose you want to do 5 minute quick deliveries, right? But to actually do 5 minute quick deliveries, if you don't have a proper strategy, which all places you will be targeting, what is going to be the warehouse strength, how many delivery partners you will have, what is your business goal, what is your business objective, without that you will not be able to actually start the big business, right? That's how a business strategy is written, right? And generally the strategies for the long term, it is written for the 5 years plus. It's never for a short term goal. And once you establish a business strategy, using that business strategy, the IT strategy is driven, and using the IT strategy, then information security strategy is established. So information security strategy will actually supporting the business objective, business goal, because the end goal of security is actually to support the business, right? You cannot tell the business that the 20 character password is very good, it's very strong, please go and set 20 character password for all the applications, all the databases, all the accounts, right? You cannot do that because it's a very strong password. You will definitely seeing what is the business objective, because you don't want the end users or the stakeholders, those who are using that particular application, to actually remember those 20 character password. It would be very difficult. So you will be seeing what is the balance between the security and the business, and as per that you will be establishing this, right? And this particular thing is define the vision and the direction for the information security policy. On the basis of that, then when you will be writing a security policy is actually, I'll say, a starting point for establishing the information security in the organization. Suppose you tomorrow you want to start a SOC. Like, I'm a new company, I don't have a security operations center established, right? So I'll be writing security policies around incident management, right? I'll be writing security policies around the incident handling. I'll be writing security policy around the SOC management, right? So all these security policies I'll, and then it will actually provide the guideline and the rule for the information security program. And this actually is kind of a cycle, and the security program will actually report all the KPIs, KRIs, and all things, and then it helps you implement the enforce the strategy. That's how all these things are related with each other. Let me take the a small example, right? You have a data center, you have a servers in the data center, right? But to access those server, you will definitely have a kind of a security mechanism in the place. Maybe you will place a security guard, you will place a security camera on the top to monitor it. Then you will have a access machine which is placed to maybe access using biometric, or maybe the fingerprint, right? Then you can go, and in the data center also, the server in the cabinet where it is placed, you may place a kind of a physical lock to lock it, and that key will be there with some specialist people, those who access it, right? That is part of the information security. So information security actually cover all the part of it, all of the security, be it the physical securing those assets, plus other thing. Like, suppose you are sending one a mail to some person using maybe speed post, right? So you actually put some sticker on top of it, right? Suppose that sticker is broken, it means that someone has tampered with it. So that is part of the information security. But the cyber security, it talks about only the digital assets, protecting the digital part of the information, the data, and establishing all the networking devices you have, endpoint equipments. Those will form part of the cybersecurity. So that's the major difference between both of them. So this is very basic thing to talk about, but actually it's very important. So the CIA triad, actually it covers everything what is there in the cybersecurity, and everything revolves around it, right? So the confidentiality, if I may talk about, it's actually protect your data from the unauthorized disclosure, right? So let me take a very simple example of your Gmail account, right? So in the Gmail account, whenever you're logging in, you have your username, right? What you know, right? And then you have a password, right? You enter that password. Maybe you might have multi-factor authentication. You may receive one OTP, and that's how you are able to log in, right? So this password is actually protecting the confidentiality of your Gmail account. It helps your account getting unauthorized disclosure of the information what is there, right? That's the part of the confidentiality. And integrity, actually it maintains the accuracy and the completeness of the information. Suppose you are writing one email and you are sending it to your friend, right? You don't want someone to tamper with that particular email, right? So maybe you will digitally sign that particular email, right? And once you digitally sign that particular email using a hash key, creating a hash function of your signature, so that person has the correct signature, and then he'll be able to actually decrypt it and see, okay, the integrity of that particular message is ensured, and no one is able to tamper that particular message. That is part of the integrity. And availability is actually all the services, all the information which is there, it should be timely access and available, right? Suppose you are trying to access the Amazon grocery app, and you want to order some product, right? It should be always available, right? It should not happen that data center of Amazon is down and you're not able to access that particular thing. So that's is the availability. Now, this is very important. I've been talking about the strategy, governance. So what is actually difference between the governance and the management, right? So as I told, governance is like you have a government in the country, right? So the governance actually sets a high level guidelines for you, right? And the management is the one who implements those guidelines for you. So like you have a board of directors in the organization, right? Board of directors actually set the governance. They help you create a strategy, business strategy, right? But all those people who are there in this management level, or maybe the directors, all the department heads, they are the management, right? They are implementing those guidelines which are set up by the top management. So that's the difference between the governance and the management. So 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 the GRC, it's a very popular term these days, and all the companies they are following. So governance I have already talked about, right? So the governance include the corporate management, strategy, all the policies which you have. This form part of the governance in the organization. So once you establish a governance, right? As I already showed you one slide, that what is the difference between the what is the relationship between the governance and the risk management. Once you establish a governance in the organization, then you can establish a risk management, right? So the risk management start with the asset identification. If you don't have an inventory of asset in the organization, you will not be able to actually successfully do risk management in the organization, right? Suppose you have some thousand servers in the organization and you have only inventory of 800 of them, 200 of them you are not aware. Are they online in the network, or are they decommissioned? You're not aware about it, right? How you will be able to manage the risk, right? Because those 200, maybe there can be some attack surface which is being generated due to them, right? So that's why it start with the asset inventory. First you create a asset inventory. Once you have an inventory of all the asset, from there then you go to the next step. That is first to identify what are the risk on those all the assets which you have in the organization, right? And then once you identify those, then you evaluate those particular risk, right? Because you cannot treat all the risk in the organization. All the organization, they are huge. There is always a budget constraint as per the priority, as per the appetite you have in the organization. You will evaluate which all the risks you want to cover, and then you can manage the risk accordingly. And once you have all this set up, then you go to the compliance. So compliance actually mostly talk about the legal part of it. You will be adhering to all the internal policies, all the external regulations which are there. There's GDPR, HIPAA, SOC compliance, and then there are different industries like PCI DSS is there for the payment card industries. So all these regulatory compliance, all the companies as per the business which they are operating, they need to adhere to those things. And those particular compliance, all the compliance and all the legal and all the compliance which you have, they are always treated as a risk. Because if you don't adhere to GDPR guidelines which are there, there's a risk to your organization. You may end up paying a hefty fine to the regulatory bodies. So that's why this is also a kind of a question you can get in the exam. So all the compliance or all the laws and regulations which are there, they are always treated as a kind of a risk for the organization, and you treat all of them as per the risk. Now, how a governance is set up in the organization, right? I already told you there are board of directors in the organization. Under board of directors, then they will board of directors, they will appoint the senior management. Senior management is mostly consist of the CEO, CIO, chief operation officer, and chief CFO, chief financial officer, other important heads, right? Then they select those. Then the CEO, once CEO is selected, then he'll appoint the CTO, and the CTO or maybe the CIO, it may change as per org to org, and then they will appoint the CISOs, right? That's how the governance work, right? And all these senior managements, what we call, they actually set up the direction for the organization. They set up the vision. Let me take example. Like suppose I am an organization, I am a senior management, right? I want to digitally transform my organization maybe in the next 5 years, right? So I want to digitally transform my organization in that direction. Maybe I'll tell, okay, I'll moving from my on-prem data center. I'll be moving my 50% infrastructure from my on-prem data center to the cloud infrastructure, right? I'll be seeing that which all are the old infrastructure which I have, all the old application which are following the monolithic architecture, right? I may transfer them to the microservices architecture. So that's how. So the high level direction is given by them, but these all small things will be taken care by the respective department heads, like CEO, CISO, CIO. Those people will take care of it, right? Once the direction is given, then you establish a control on top of it, right? So then you will establish a KPIs and KRIs, right? You will establish the risk management framework. You will establish a resource allocation, and once you have those, then you will ensure adherence to all the laws, regulations, internal policies, rules you have, and then you can evaluate the performance. Because if you cannot measure the performance, you cannot actually improve your the way you work, right? If you're not able to measure how the things are happening, how you will able to improve it, right? If you don't are you are not measuring the KPIs and KRIs, like suppose how much time you are taking to respond to an incident. If you're not measuring that, how you will be able to improve it, that particular time which you are taking? So that's why the measuring the performance is very important. Now I talked about the high level, what is the secure what is the governance in the organization. Now on top of it, now we'll be creating the information security governance. So you have a CISO, right, in the organization. So the CISO will be setting up the risk management framework, how all the risks are treated, right? And all the departments, all the functions which you are supporting, you will then see how they are aligning to the business. That's the second thing. And then you information security governance will provide you the strategic oversight to the executive level monitoring, as well as it will be giving direction to the security program, which all department you should have, how many resources you should hire, what type of security training you will be doing, like what kind of end equipments protection you require, right? Which kind of tools you will be needing in the SOC team, right? Which all things need to be monitored. These all things will be coming here from the security governance. And then you will set up a accountability. You all might have heard about the RASI, right? RASI matrix. Who is the responsible? Who is accountable? Who need to be consulted? Who will be informed? Because without setting up the accountability, you will not be able to actually define the clear goals and one thing, for any kind of a security incident, suppose today as employee I click on one phishing email, right? I am definitely responsible for that, but the ultimate responsibility lies with the senior management, right? Because if clicking on that particular phishing email and there is some loss of business, or maybe the loss of some dollars to the organization, definitely that you will never see in the news that so and so employee of so and so company, he clicked on the phishing email, that's why there is a data loss, right? They always talk about that there is a security incident in the organization, and the the CEO of the organization told that there was security incident and so many data breach happened, right? So that's how always, for anything, the senior management is accountable. Any kind of security incident, they actually hold the ultimate accountability of everything what is happening in the organization. Now, in the security governance, if I talk about, so the security governance, it generally, these are the major thing which are covered, right? First thing, you will develop a security strategy. You will be establishing a risk management framework. Then you, once you have that, you will be allocating the resources to those particular departments and those functions which you have. And then you will be measuring the performance. You will be setting up the KPIs, KRIs, and monitoring the performance, how those things are working. And then you will be integrating all the functions with all the organization, different departments, and all the business functions which you have. I'm going little fast because so that I can quickly go to the I can take Q&A from all of you. And the most important thing, what is actually importance of setting up security governance, right? You'll be able to mitigate the risk, right? Because if you don't have a proper security governance in the organization, uh, things are happening at their own, you will never be able to actually mitigate the risk, right? So if you have a proper security governance in the organization, you will be able to treat the risk, you will be able to mitigate the risk. Because I already told you that if there is no proper security governance, definitely there is going to be the security incidents which are happening. You don't have a proper security training or with the phishing awareness campaign you are doing in the organization. Maybe people will be clicking on the phishing emails, and there's going to be a lot of security incident, right? That's how it help you mitigate the risk. Then it help you ensure a regulatory compliance, right? You are compliant to all the regulatory frameworks, all the laws, rules, regulations which you have, and you'll able to ensure you are resilient the way you operate, right? All the things which you are doing in the organization, those things will happen at a proper with proper certain guidelines, rules, regulation, policies, right? So that's how you will be able to make those particular processes resilient in nature, and definitely you will be able to gain a competitive advantage because and you are not having security incident, you are not losing the business. Definitely you will be able to get a competitive advantage among all the competitors which you have in the market. And this is the last slide. So I've already talked about how the business is set up, right? uh, how the board of directors functions, right? So the board of directors, they'll be setting up the business vision, right? They'll be giving you what is the vision of the organization, right? Once the vision is given, on the basis of the vision, you will be driving the business strategy. Once the business strategy is driven, then you will take out the business objective out of the business strategy. What is the objective for the business, right? You want to maybe become a global organization. Suppose you are starting with one business, and currently my business is operating in India. I want to become a global organization. I want to start my business maybe in the UK and in the US, right? So that is my business objective. Now, as per that, the IT strategy is prepared. Now I want to expand my business to US and UK. Definitely I'll be requiring some IT assets, right? I'll be requiring additional servers in those particular areas. I'll be requiring a lot of end equipments to secure, and then I'll be once that is done, then I'll be defining a security strategy. Now I'm buying those assets. I'm making my business global, so I need to protect all the infrastructure which is set up. So I'll be then defining a security strategy. And once the security strategy is written, then you will be defining the security policies. All the functions which you will be introducing, maybe you are introducing a VPN, so you will have a separate policy for that. Suppose you are a global organization, you people are working remotely, so you will have a separate policy for that, right? And then you will be driving the security standards. On the basis of the standard, you will define a process, and the security matrix is there to actually give you KPIs and KRIs, and that's how you will be able to measure it, and then you will be able to improve your security strategy and IT strategy. And once you have a strategic alignment to the organization, you will be able to you will be able to actually map to the organization vision, mission, organization strategy. You will have a IT strategy, information security strategy, and you will be able to implement a IS program. And this is what I told, is always a top down approach. Vision, it tells you why the organization exists, right? Once you have a vision, then you drive a mission tells you what actually you will be doing to achieve that particular vision which you defined, right? Then you will be defining a strategic plan, long term objective, and the directions which you will be giving. As I told you, strategic plan is generally for 5 years plus, and then you will be deriving a tactical plan out of it, which is going to be the short in nature for a short term, and the operational plan, like how the incidents are treated and what we people do generally on ground, all the people, those who are working, operational people. Then the operational plan will be derived on basis of this.